What's going on YouTube? Chris Grant Jr. Welcome to the Grant and Geek Show. This is our first episode of 2023. I can't believe we're more than halfway through the month. I apologize. This studio has been a nightmare to work in. It's just not as modular as I thought it would be. So please bear with me as we get the episodes back up to speed. But I had to make a video. I absolutely had to, regardless of what the set looks like. I like making prettier videos, prettier sets, but it ain't going to happen today. But Apple released their M2 MacBook Pro, Mac Mini. So we're going to talk about that. I really think the devices are lame, but I think that's a good thing, and I'm going to explain why. So hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss as we cover all things tech, pro audio, and video. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Grant and Geek Show. Okay, so Apple's got the M2 in the MacBook Air, the iPad Pro, the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros, all the way up to M2 Pro and M2 Max. So a lot of new stuff. There are other videos that will explain all day long the tech specs of these devices. They're actually impressively powerful. I think we're seeing a little bit more of the performance of the M2 Pro and M2 Pro Max, or the M2 Max, in the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros that we weren't really seeing in the Air and in the iPad Pro, and that makes perfect sense. And these devices, while more powerful, are not that exciting, but I'll tell you why that's an amazing thing and a good thing. Oh, by the way, guys, I know that DaVinci Resolve is now out for the iPad Pro. I've been using it extensively. In fact, my brand new show, What Are We Even Doing?, where I react to the stupidest videos on the internet, that series is completely edited in DaVinci Resolve on the iPad Pro. So I'll leave a link to that down in the description below if you want to check that out and see how it actually functions. But I will be making more extensive videos on my time with DaVinci Resolve on the iPad Pro, as guys, the iPad Pro is the future of all tech, at least as far as I can see right now. Okay, so M2 isn't revolutionary or groundbreaking, but why is that a good thing? We have gotten used to the tick-tock cycle. That's something that we're using increasingly to show that, look, a company doesn't have to reinvent the wheel and revolutionize the industry with every single release. And that's fine, but you know, ideally, if you could have it that way, it's like, why not? Here's why the M2 chip series actually benefits from not being all that groundbreaking and revolutionary. It's because Apple has actually done exactly what we asked them to do. Think about it this way. They've put the ball officially in the creator side of the court. It used to be that we would see things in movies and TV shows, high production value content that we just couldn't replicate no matter how hard we tried or what software we used with Intel Macs. What was so groundbreaking, I don't know why I said it that way, about the M1 chips is that we could now do things we just couldn't do, or it would take an absurdly long amount of rendering or processing to get those things done. Now we could do that in a fraction of the time with M1. Totally changed the game and opened up a new level of creativity. And then they threw that M1 into the iPad Pro. So that was it. That was it, effectively. We could now do those things. Now, could we do them as fast as the best in the game? Probably not, still not. But we could do it, as where before we could not. And now with the M2 chips, they're just improving on what they've already fixed. Now, the job is for the creator to make some kind of content or require something software-wise that maxes out these M2 chips, these M2 Pros, M2 Maxes, and even M2 Ultra chips. Once you do that, then the clock will start ticking for Apple to revolutionize the game, to allow us to do the things that we just can't do. Right now, Apple has absolutely done their job. I want to commend them because the ball's in our court. We need to get creating. We need to start acting like we've got these incredible machines and that the ceiling now is so much higher. Let's start going up there in terms of the content that we create, the video games that we create, the code that we compile. All that stuff has just been given so much more breathing room, and it's time that we use it. So until then, you're not going to hear any complaints from me about M2, even if M3 is not that impressive. I'm like, show me the software first. Show me a software code or whatever. Now, everything's basically software on a computer that the M2 Ultra can't handle. And especially you may say, oh, well, the Ultra is so expensive. Not relatively. Compared to what you can do now, 3D rendering, code compiling, all those kind of things, they're giving, I mean, machines like this used to cost tens of thousands of dollars. And now you can get that for less than half the price, really. I wouldn't even say it's expensive and they need to bring the price down. The simple M2 Pro chip that you can get in a Mac Mini now, not the Mac Studio, the Mac Mini, is an absolute beast. And not even most people. Now, most professionals are not going to push that M2 Pro chip past what it's capable of doing with today's software. So that's why I think ultimately the M2 is doing exactly what it needs to do. Hats off to Apple, doing a great job. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you approving of M2, or do you think Apple needs to step up their game? I'd love to hear your thoughts and chat it up with you guys in the comments. Now, earlier I did mention my show, What Are We Even Doing?, where I take the stupidest videos that I can find on the internet, obviously trending topics and things like that, and I react to them. And it's a good time. I'm enjoying it. We just dropped episode 2, or maybe it's coming out after I edit this. It depends. I shot them both at the same time. So check that out. Links will be down below. Subscribe over there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and keep it locked here as we cover all things tech, pro video, and audio. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show.